Hi, this is Archangel Ariel, and welcome to our new tape set, Tools for Living Heaven. As many new people have been accessing angelic outreach, we found that we needed a concise and sort of edited form of a lot of the angelic outreach basic techniques for people to access quickly and easily. We won't be doing a great deal of explanation on the tape. It will be mostly the techniques themselves, so you can easily look them up and use them. We suggest you use them daily. The first technique we will do is the base technique that all other angelic outreach technologies are based from. It's called the Unified Chakra. The Unified Chakra helps train your chakras to open up in all directions, spherically, and merge as one chakra. It trains your lower four bodies, the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies, to merge as one body. And then from that merge unified field, allowing the oversouls, the Christ oversoul, and the I am oversoul to hook in fully and begin to live here in the body. And then we have you radiate forth from the center of your heart, your own spirit, so that all of your bodies become tuned to something we call the spiritual signature. The spiritual signature is what you are following when we say follow your spirit with each breath and each step. It feels like joy, enthusiasm, and yes. And you can feel any emotion, have any thought, and have any experience with the spiritual signature in your body. So I'd like you to relax your body. If you have shoes on, please take them off. Breathe in light to the center of the heart, allowing it to open in all directions like a glowing ball of light, like a sun, a star. Breathe in light to the center of the heart and expand and encompass the throat chakra and the solar plexus chakra in one unified field of light within, through, and around your body, allowing your physical body to relax. Breathe in light to the center of the heart and expand in all directions. Expand and encompass the brow chakra and the navel chakra in one unified field of light within, through, and around your body, allowing the physical body to open. Breathe in light to the center of the heart. Expand and encompass the crown chakra and the base chakra in one unified field of light within, through, and around your body, allowing the physical body to open even further. Breathe in light to the center of the heart. Expand and encompass the alpha chakra 8 inches above your head and the omega chakra 8 inches below your spine. Feel the waves of Metatron move through the center of your body between those 2 points. You may feel yourself vibrate a little bit or shake as they recalibrate themselves. Breathe in light to the center of the heart. Expand and encompass the 8th chakra above your head and your upper thighs in one unified field of light within, through, and around your body, allowing the emotional body to merge with the physical fields. Breathe in light to the center of the heart. Expand and encompass the 9th chakra above your head and your lower thighs in one unified field of light within, through, and around your body, allowing the mental body to merge with the physical fields. Breathe in light to the center of the heart. Expand and encompass the 10th chakra above your head and your knees in one unified field of light within, through, and around your body, allowing the spiritual body to merge with the physical fields, creating the unified field. Breathe in light to the center of the heart. Expand and encompass the 11th chakra and your upper calves in one unified field of light within, through, and around your body, allowing the oversoul to merge with the unified field. Breathe in light to the center of the heart. Expand and encompass the 12th chakra and your lower calves in one unified field of light within, through, and around your body, allowing the Christ or Messianic Oversoul to merge with the unified field, strengthening it and deepening it. Breathe in light to the center of the heart. Expand and encompass the 13th chakra and your feet in one unified field of light within, through, and around your body, allowing the I Am Oversoul to merge with the unified field. Breathe in light to the center of the heart. Expand and encompass the 14th chakra and to below your feet, allowing the Holy Spirit Shekhinah to move throughout the entire unified field, creating the Leoesh pillar of light within, through, and around your body. And from the center of your heart, I would like you to invite the highest level of your spirit, appropriate to right now, to radiate forth from the center of the heart, filling the unified field completely with your own light. Spirit, please take up your frequencies throughout the unified field by at least a third. Let the physical body and the lower bodies feel it completely. And from the Omega chakra, 8 inches below your spine, I would like you to run one line of light straight up your spine, up into the upper parts of the unified field, centering and grounding into your vastness, your divinity. And from the Omega chakra again, 12 lines of light, flowing downward, opening up beneath you like a cone, centering and grounding you across the hologram. Okay, Spirit, please open the fields for the invocation to light. I live within the light. I love within the light. I laugh within the light. I am sustained and nourished by the light. I joyously serve the light, for I am the light. I am the light. I am the light. I am. I am. I am. We will now transmit the invocation to light in angelic tonal. Spirit, close the field. Now gently allow your eyes to open to the fully functional state. If you notice that you're running around in the past, or you're living in what-if land in the future, your bodies are not unified. The emotional body tends to live in the past, and the mental body tends to live in the future. It is the easiest and simplest way to know if you're in the unified field. We would suggest that you do the unified chakra every time you're in the past or the future. With the level of change on the planet at this time, the only place that you will feel stable and centered is fully in the now. The unified field is one of the easiest ways to bring yourself fully into the now, feeling the spiritual signature as it moves within you, and be contained in your own energy. The unified field forms a 55-foot bubble around you that's sort of like a force field. It allows you to handle the vastest, highest frequencies of multidimensional energy without burning out your body. It helps you stay stable in the midst of this level of change. The next 4 processes involve things that we call command coding. Now, some command codes have to be in very exact wording to get action from the upper dimensions, but none of these next things are absolutely written in stone. These are a formula, a way of asking for something to occur in the most thorough possible way we could figure out, or others could figure out how to say. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is something called releasing entities. In the third dimension, there have always been entities. These are beings that attach to you. Some people think of them as ghosts. And their main job has been to live through you vicariously. You know those times when you have stuff coming out of your mouth and you can't figure out why you're saying it? Or you find yourself really, really upset about something and it seems really minor? There may be an entity there. When we look at what's going on the planet, we say there are 2 orientations or prime directives that are absolutely necessary for negotiating this level of change. First principle is follow your spirit with each breath and each step. That is not a channeled entity. That is not a book. That is not a process. That is your spirit. And the other one is the principle of getting everything out of your life that doesn't look like heaven. In other words, living heaven. Entities stay in your fields and they feed you pictures of reality that don't look like heaven, which the universe then rearranges around so that you get to have the experience of it not being heaven. Now, we regard entity release as a form of spiritual hygiene. At this point, we think you should be doing it daily. Now, that's our opinion, but just to make sure everything is clean. So the way we do an entity release is the first step is you call for assistance. Why should you do it all yourself? Might as well ask for some assistance from the upper dimensions. So what we suggest is that you say, Archangel Michael, please bring down the tunnel of light. Ariel, Azrael, and Arukyuri, please assist. And feel that tunnel or tube come down around the outer part of your fields. Now this tunnel extends from this dimension into the 5th dimension. Now when you do an entity release, it is not punitive. You are taking a brother or sister home. So they get to go there faster than you, and so you're helping them on their way. The 4 beings that we have suggested you ask for are part of the Council of Ein Sof. We have very specialized functions that assist in the process. So once you feel that tunnel come down around your fields, we would like you to say, I break any and all agreements or contracts, both conscious and unconscious, that I have made, anyone in my body has made, or anyone within my genetic lineage has made, with any astral entities, thought forms, emotions, demons, dark forces, elementals, aliens, or boogies. Please go into the tunnel. We will take you home. Now, it's said this way to try and cover all of the bases. Occasionally, you may have somebody in your fields that you know. Could be your Aunt Tilly, for example. And you may actually need to address Aunt Tilly and say, thanks for the memories, time to go on. Now, from the moment you begin an entity release, we would suggest that you assume that your feelings or thoughts may not be your own. Feelings of boredom, extreme spaciness, resistance, thought forms like this stuff never works, anger, aches and pains in your body, grief, all of that may be coming from entities in your field. Now, when you feel that stuff, we would say the most common is the boredom and the resistance and the spaciness. You just lose your train of thought. When that happens, identify it and address it, and then send them on, i.e., say, entity holding resistance, step into the light. Entity holding spaciness, step into the light. Entity holding the pain in my right hip, step into the light. Now, the other thing that's very helpful is toning, because it kind of breaks apart all the structures in your fields. Now, entity release toning is not usually very melodic. It's usually sharp and staccato, and it sounds like this. Notice how your fields feel. Sort of scan your energy bodies. Is there any place that feels dense or like it's not moving? Tone at that area or address that entity and ask it to go into the light. When you feel clear, ask Michael to take the tunnel back up into the 5th dimension. It collapses upward. And if you're real polite, you can thank us for helping you. But we do really suggest that you do this daily at this point, as there are a lot of entities entering the holographic bubble from the astral plane, which is collapsing. And some of them are pretty scared. So you may have a lot of running fear in your body or a lot of grief or anger running in your body that seems like it's not attached to anything. Chances are it's an entity. So just sort of build this in like brushing your teeth. The triple grid is a technique that the Council of Divine Self brought in because so many people are having trouble keeping their space clean. The triple grid is for keeping areas like your home, your workplace, and your car pristinely, energetically clean. And the nice thing about the triple grid is that it really assists you to live heaven. If you combine you doing the unified chakra and then having the triple grid around your home, you will find that people who are kind of a pain don't call as much, don't show up at your doorstep. Things can't enter your space for you to deal with. They simply kind of disappear out of the reality. So in the triple grid, you're asking for a specific group to set up a level of grid. Now, on the principle of ask and it shall be given, knowing what you're asking for and who you're asking to do it is very important. The legions of Michael, the zillions and zillions of the legions of Michael, their main job is to bring energy into a system. The Destroyer Force Angels, and these are not the same as the Dark Forces, the Destroyer Force Angels, their job is to create the space for light to emerge. So they clear things out of the way. Circle Security is the security aspect of something called the Intergalactic Federation of Planets. They maintain the upper dimensional grid structures. So we ask them to remove and add things to the grid. Now, when you're asking a specific group to set up their level of the grid, you then designate the geometric shape of the grid. You can do grids of different geometric shapes, but spherical is the easiest and best shape for everyday use around your home and workplace and car, easiest to maintain, most stable. So we suggest on that everyday basis using spherical. You also designate the size of the grid. In other words, you could say this room if you were setting up a meditation space. You could say my house. You could say the property if you have land around your house. You could say 10 square city blocks. You could say the city of Portland. You could say the United States. You could say the planet. You can designate the size of the grid. And you designate its location, such as Portland, or Denver, wherever. So, geometric shape, size, location. And you want to renew this grid weekly around your home, workplace, or car. Or whenever you notice the energy getting funky. Now, lately, things have been shifting around enough that people have felt a need to renew the grids more often than weekly. But if you do that, you don't usually need to go through the whole process. You can just say renew grid. We have also known people who hang crystals in their car, both natural crystals or lead crystals, or in their house, and actually program one to help hold the grid. Now, we still suggest that you renew it weekly. The triple grid is based in command codes. So especially the first part of this, we highly recommend you actually use these words. And we're going to go ahead and add in what you might possibly ask for. Now, if you look at your home and your life and take a look at your relationships and what's in your house or your workplace, and say to yourself, what energies are running here that I don't like being in the space? They don't look like heaven to me. It could be feeling like you're disrespected at work, or like there's unspoken hostility or passive aggression. It could be that your communication skills with your mate or your sexuality with your mate doesn't seem to be up to where you'd like it to be. You can use the triple grid to remove energies from the space that you'd like to not be there. And you can use it also to add frequencies into the space so they're more available. So if this is the first time you're using this technique, we would suggest that you sit down and think about what you would like out of your space and into your space, because that's what you're going to ask for. So now we're going to do the triple grid technique. Legions of Michael, grid level 1, spherical, my home. Destroyer Force Angels, grid level 2, spherical, my home. Circle Security, grid level 3, spherical, my home. Destroyer Force Angels, please spin your grid. Spin out astral entities, adverse electromagnetic frequencies, fear, disharmony, anger, adverse astrological influences, expectation, frustration, viruses, funguses, bacteria, worry, astral distortions, miscommunication, sadness, enemy patterning, scarcity, loneliness, karmic monads, and anything that distorts the spiritual signature or clear communication with spirit. Spin out anything that has not been mentioned in this or any other language, but which you know needs to leave the space at this time. Now, when this feels complete, and some of you may actually feel the spin, that's okay, let yourself feel the spin. When it feels complete, continue with reverse spin, same stuff. And you'll feel the spin that the destroyer forces are creating through the field reverse. That's because things have a molecular spin. And to catch all of it, it does need to spin both ways. When it feels complete, say, stop spin, thank you. Now, what do you want to put in the grid? Here's how that works. Legions of Michael, please infuse your grid with the energies of grace, purity, faith, hope, peace, liberty, harmony, and victory Elohim. Infuse with divine love, intimacy. Infuse the unified chakra. Infuse centeredness, clarity, full connection with spirit, tolerance, clear communication, health, wealth, following spirit with each breath and each step. Mastery, sovereignty, living heaven. And anything else that hasn't been mentioned in this or any other language, but which you know needs to be in the space at this time. Please seal your grid. Thank you. If you ask the Legions of Michael to infuse their grid with living heaven and infuse their grid with the unified chakra and infuse the grid with following spirit with each breath and each step, it will make it much easier for you to do those things. Last section, circle security. Please realign your grid to harmonize with upper dimensional gridworks. Release all distortions and parasites on those grids. Infuse frequencies for clearer communication with spirit. Seal your grid. Thank you. Now, the triple grid can be done around a location without your being physically there. Try doing it around the mall or the courthouse, the grocery store, your post office before you get there. Remember that it cannot be used to manipulate others. It just makes particular energies more or less easily available. If someone really sets out to be a pain in the butt, they can. They just have to work a little harder for it. If someone wants to be more loving, they will find it much easier within that grid. Now, we have given you the basic everyday application. The spherical geometry is very stable and easy to maintain. Another use for this that's very helpful is around your car. Now, we've noticed when there's a lot of parallel shifting around and a lot of holographic collapse, people have trouble driving. And when they look around on the freeway, they can tell that about 90% of the people around them are nowhere near their bodies. And there are cars appearing out of nowhere, driving the wrong way down the freeway, stopping on the exit ramps, cutting them off, doing all kinds of crazy things. The spherical grid around your car can be very helpful. Now, what you want to add into that grid is you ask the destroyer forces to spin out parallel bleed-through and reality distortion and other people's karma. Ask the Legions of Michael to infuse reality stability and homing structure to where you are going. It is very, very important that you do not ever infuse invisibility into the triple grid around your car. You'll get hit. Other people will not be able to see you. But when you do the triple grid around your car, part of what happens is you've got this force field around you. So you suddenly are feeling around you many car lengths. And other people actually feel the triple grid, so they don't get as close to you. So you're much more aware of what's going on, and they're much more aware of you. It makes driving a lot safer with this level of parallel merger. So we would suggest you build in a habit of doing the triple grid weekly. We'd suggest you choose a day, and on that day you renew your grids. You might want to make it a personal ritual. There may be things around your home or car that you want to do that allow it to be sort of a sweet ritual of asking. Think about what that would mean for you. The triple grid can definitely make it easier for you to follow your spirit with each breath and each step and to live heaven. The next thing we want to talk about is something we call vow breaks. Now, people on this planet took many vows of control during the incarnational cycle. Most of the time, a person had an intense karmic experience, they died, They hit the lower astral plane and they vowed, I'm never gonna do that again. A situation or expression that we vowed we would never experience again is essentially a place where you vowed not to follow your spirit with each breath and each step. When a vow of control is taken, the forces of condensation, also known as the dark forces, put devices and karmic matrix in to ensure that that vow is kept. Many vow structures have entities attached to them. Every time you hit a deep self-limitation, or you notice your energy is not flowing in a given situation, you might want to look for a vow. Pertinent devices and matrices disappear immediately or are easily removed once the vow is broken. So we're going to give you the basic vow structure, and then we're going to go through it again, filling in the blanks. I rescind any and all vows that I have taken, anyone in this body has taken, and anyone within my genetic lineage has taken, pertaining to. And then you fill in the blank. When you've filled in all the blank, you add, I declare these vows null and void in this incarnation and all incarnations across space and time, parallel realities, parallel universes, alternate realities, alternate universes, all planetary systems, all source systems, all dimensions, and the void. Please release all structures, devices, entities, orientations, or effects associated with these vows now. So that's the formula. Now we're going to take you back through it. I rescind any and all vows I have taken, anyone in this body has taken, and anyone within my genetic lineage has taken, pertaining to not following my spirit with each breath and each step in any situation. Vows to not trust the movement of spirit. Vows upholding the original karmic programming of survival, procreation, territoriality, and defense against the enemy. Vows to see other people, institutions, or structures as the enemy. Vows to not remain in the center of a paradox, to attempt to resolve a paradox. Vows to hold one reality as real and to ignore all other realities. Vows to see myself as limited. Vows holding limited third-dimensional identity, life context, and reality measurement. Vows to measure reality by it is real because I have experienced it. Vows to measure reality by it's real because I feel it. Vows holding in place fear, self-doubt, shame, hatred, spiritual significance, guilt, blame, spiritual ambition, doubt, denigration, spiritual authority. Vows to feel lesser, unworthy, unlovable, incapable, or not have enough capacity. Vows holding in place overwhelm in the face of divinity and ecstasy. Vows limiting the body's capacity to mutate and change. Vows limiting the mental body's ability to access the mind of God. Vows limiting the ability of the emotional body and the heart to know the love of God. Vows limiting the ability and the capacity of the physical body to embody divinity and ecstasy and infinity. Vows to not merge the chakras. Vows to not merge the lower bodies. Vows to not access the oversouls. Vows to not recognize the spiritual signature. Vows to not recognize and utilize divine law and principle. Vows to over-identify with pictures of reality. Vows to be karmically self-indulgent. Vows holding in place karmic monads, dark force seed crystallizations, and obsolete connections into the consensus reality. Vows of seriousness. vows to not access the divine joke. I declare these vows null and void in this incarnation and all incarnations across space and time. Parallel realities, parallel universes, alternate realities, alternate universes, all planetary systems, all source systems, all dimensions, and the void. Please release all structures, devices, entities, orientations, or effects associated with these vows. Now. So now you've unified, you've gotten the entities out of your field, you've broken vows, and you've prepared the space. So what do you want really? That's the big question. The superconscious technique was brought in quite a few years ago by Extraterrestrial Earth Mission, by Activar, actually. And it is a formal kind of asking technique for restructuring your pictures of reality. When you ask for your pictures of reality to be restructured, you always ask in the positive. You ask for what you want. Superconscious is an address to the part of your spirit that is aware of all the pictures of reality that you hold. By the force of grace means that it comes in gracefully. The force of grace is divine forgiveness, joy, celebration, and she acts like divine lubricant. She allows everything to move more smoothly. She is a complete break with the past and a fresh start in each now moment. Please manifest the performance, the effect, and the embodiment of the highest possibility. This asks that what you are requesting show up at every possible level of reality, so that the power of this can be manifest in my experience. Well, you want it in your experience, not somebody else's experience, so that the power of it can be manifest for you. And so it is. And so it is means it is put in the now, not and so be it somewhere in the future. The superconscious technique works very effectively. You must know that it may change your life radically. Be aware of what you ask for. So we're now going to go through the superconscious, and we're going to add in some possible pictures of reality that you might ask your spirit for. Superconscious, by the force of grace, please manifest the performance, the effect, and the embodiment of the highest possibility that everything comes easily for me. That Spirit provides absolutely everything on an as-needed basis. That all resources are provided by Spirit before I know I need them. That I have total awareness of the spiritual signature and I follow my Spirit with each breath and each step. That I have total awareness of divine law and principle and utilize it every moment of every day. That I have a fifth dimensional identity, life context, and reality measurement. That I live completely outside of all survival constructs, and my life is filled completely with miracles. That I live heaven now, so that the power of this can be manifest within my experience. And so it is. Now, when you do a superconscious and you're asking your spirit to realign your pictures of reality, it begins to shake things out. The first thing it starts to shake out are entities and vows. So, within the next 3 days after doing a superconscious technique, you may notice that you're needing to do a lot of vow breaks and entity release. This is a positive, not a negative. When you ask for your pictures of reality to be realigned, obsolete pictures of reality have to get out of the way. So they come up for release. If you will see that as part of the process and not a problem, it gets very easy. So it's like super conscious, then vow break and entity release, and you move very, very fast. It is one of the quickest ways we know to move your reality around. And we very much bless and love the beings that formed Extraterrestrial Earth Mission, for ET Earth Mission is no longer on the planet, for their work here and their incredible, deep, lasting effects within this hologram. We ask, as you use the superconscious technique, that you bless the bodies that brought this in. As an incarnate member of this hologram, you are part of a consensus reality. Now, things are shifting on this planet a lot, and consensus reality is breaking down. There are times when you look around you and you can't figure out why you're being so crabby, that it may be because you're plugged into the consensus. Sort of think of at Christmas time and you're watching television and you notice some ad for some kind of expensive thing that you think you might want. And all of a sudden you are just filled with scarcity. I can't have it. I can't afford it. I'm unworthy. I don't have the capacity, all those things. Well, what happened is you were just plugged into the consensus reality of everyone who was watching that commercial. And you had a reaction to it. Now, here's a very simple technique that we call unplugging. Think of the consensus reality as like a huge electrical transformer. It is feeding you energy, and you are feeding it energy. So the first step is you want to unplug so you can figure out what your energy is. Imagine an old-fashioned telephone switchboard in front of you. You know, the kind that has all the plugs and wires like Ernestine. We are omnipotent, Ernestine. And the whole bottom of the board where you're plugged in is the consensus reality. The upper 1/3 is your spirit. Now just visualize this. Unplug everything from the bottom and plug it into the top. Now notice that there are some habitual places where you plug into the consensus. They won't want to move. So just keep plugging them back up until you get used to it. Now we've noticed some people who solder the wires into the top and board up the bottom. And this may work for you too. Now as soon as you unplug and you go from the bottom to the top, can you feel the difference? Usually you'll feel like your body relaxed, like some kind of worry or burden was lifted. Don't assume that what you're feeling or thinking is your energy. If it doesn't look like heaven, it might not be. We would suggest you boogie bus, vow break, and unplug. At that point, if you're left with it, it's probably yours, and you need to deal with it. But for a lot of people where it's sudden, all of a sudden you're like running scarcity, or all of a sudden you're worried about the HAARP, or all of a sudden you're worried about NATO, or all of a sudden you're worried about the New World Order, or all of a sudden you're worried about California falling into the ocean. It's probably not your energy. You just plugged into a consensus field. Unplug and then see what you're playing with. Now, the other thing that can happen is, because it is like a huge transformer, is spirit may put a lot of vision through you all of a sudden about heaven on earth. And they may direct you to unplug from the top and plug into the bottom. In other words, take that vision and pump it out into the regular consensus reality. There's no reason to be resistant to it. Go ahead and do it. Once that vision has been transmitted through the consensus, just unplug and plug back into the top. This little technique has worked wonders for people who feel buffeted by the world. It allows you to be in the world, but not of the world. Use it regularly. One of the things we've noticed on this planet is that people can't seem to tell the difference between anger and rage and divine will. We found a lot of times when people use the term rage, what they actually mean is divine will. And they've been trained to resist it, fight it, suppress it. Well, divine will is the force of divinity that allows you to change and shift your reality. And if you resist it, It means that nothing changes. Now, I'll give you an explanation. Anger is personal. It's a horizontal positioning. It means that an expectation that you have held is not being met. Good example is you're in the grocery store and the person bagging your groceries is rude to you. If you go to the place of, how dare he be rude to me, you're angry. It's personal. And usually if you express it, stomp out to your car, bitch and moan about it, it's over and it's done with. Now, divine will, if it's running through you and the person who's bagging your groceries is rude to you, you will move to the place of, it is unacceptable that human beings treat each other this way. It's much, much broader. But the reason that we've noticed that people in these bodies misunderstand the difference between rage and will is that will, when it really pours through, feels extremely overwhelming. And most people have been taught to resist it. Resistance to a divine force is pretty much deadly. It makes you feel like you're going to explode. It's horrible. The energy is actually coming from your spirit, from the outside of your fields inward. The pressurization and discomfort that you feel is the resistance to allowing it in. Now, in the universe based on divine will, also known as the power universe, what you do for a good time is you deconstruct and reconstruct realities, utilizing divine will to do so. As your spirit directs you to change a reality structure, it sends divine will to you as the fuel for that. And you utilize it to deconstruct and then reconstruct. So this technique we're about to give you is a technique that is used in a different universe, but we found it works pretty well here. You have hit a situation where whatever it is not acceptable. That's usually a signal that it's divine will. And you feel that energy start to come up or around you. Now, the first thing you'll start to notice is you'll start to tense up because you've been trained to resist it. Breathe and relax. Breathe deeply. Relax. If you are not in the unified chakra field, do it now. Go ahead and breathe in light and do the whole thing. When you are fully in the unified field, breathe again and relax. And begin to breathe in the energy that your spirit is sending to you from the outer part of the unified field inward, feeling it beginning to penetrate your fields. Relax into it. Drop the resistance. As you bring this energy into your body, feel it come all the way through your body and allow it to fill up the inner column of light. The inner column extends from the 8th chakra, about 8 or 9 inches above your head, to below your feet. And it's about 4 inches across in the center of your body. Allow this energy to start to fill it up. As you breathe in, breathe that energy from the outer part of the unified field into the column of light, until that column of light is completely filled. Keep breathing the energy in, and you'll begin to feel it pressurize in the column. Now, in the center of the column of light is a tube of light approximately 1.5 inches in diameter. This is the pranic tube. Begin to allow the divine will energy to pressurize into the pranic tube. Now you'll notice as you are breathing in this energy and not resisting it and letting it flow through your body into the center core, that you become very, very calm, but extremely focused. It's a very sword-like focus. But you get calmer and calmer and calmer the more focused you become. Allow that energy to come in, filling the inner tube of light, allowing the energy to pressurize throughout the tube, from the 8th chakra all the way to below your feet. And keep pressurizing that divine will energy until it looks like a blue-white laser down the pranic tube, about the diameter of a pencil. Now, when you feel you are at maximum pressurization, I'd like you to breathe into the crown of your head, allowing the crown chakra to open. And you may feel a pressure at the top of your head, or a feeling like a ball of energy drop into your head. Now, this is what's called a thought ball, and it's coming in from your spirit. Do not worry about what's in the ball. This ball is holding patterns of what Spirit has determined needs to be holographically removed. It isn't linear. Don't try to translate it. When you feel that ball completely kind of settle in your head, and you feel that laser at maximum compression, you might want to say inside your mind or externally, this is not acceptable. And as you do it, explode the laser. Explode it all the way along its line at once. And you will feel the energy move through you, through your body, and out through your energy fields and out into the outer reality in waves. These are called the waves of deconstruction. And when it feels like those waves have gone as far out as they can, all the way out, you will begin to usually feel the energy start to build again. It feels gentler, but you can feel the pressurization in your outer fields. This is divine will building again through your fields. Do exactly the same process. Breathe it in. Keep breathing it in. Fill the column of light. Keep breathing it in. Breathing it in. Fill the tube of light. Breathing it in. Breathing it in. Pressurize the light in the pranic tube until it is a blue-white laser. Breathe it in, and then open the top of your head. And the thought ball that Spirit will begin to put through your head is what it would like to build into the reality. In other words, what it wants to add in for the co-creation of heaven on earth. And when you feel that that thought ball is all the way in, or it all feels complete, and you feel ready to explode the laser, you may say something to the effect of live heaven, or for the co-creation of heaven on earth, and then explode the laser, and once again you will feel it move out through you and out into the reality in waves. It will often feel softer than the deconstruction wave. This is the creation wave. With practice, this technique becomes ecstatic, orgasmic, almost like a cellular orgasmic level. Now, sometimes you do need to do the deconstruction part more than once before going on to the creation part. There may be a lot that needs to be taken apart, and you need to follow Spirit about how many times you need to do that. In other words, if you go ahead and explode the laser and you still feel kind of like crabby, angry, this is not acceptable, chances are you need to do the deconstruction again. And you may need to do it more than once. A lot of times once is enough, but sometimes it may take 3 or 4 times before the deconstruction feels complete. And then the creation stuff starts to come in, and sometimes the creation part takes more than one time. The thing to be aware of in the deconstruction is if you are still feeling that something is unacceptable, you still need to do it more. If you are finding that your mind is bustling with possibilities for heaven on earth, you need to do the creation aspect more. Divine will is the force that you use to reconstruct realities. To resist it means that you stay stuck in one place. Your spirit sends it to you as a gift for the co-creation of heaven on earth. Use it. Ashvenu, Ashvenu, Adonai, Ileh Adonai, Ileh Shina, Shina Shuva, Vina Chodesh, Chodesh, Yamenu Kikesh, Yamenu Kikesh, Ashvenu, Ashvenu, Adonai, Ileh Adonai, Ileh